When Pulse happened, it was a shock. It was the home bar. It happened once, and you'd think to yourself, thank God you made it through that. We lived through that. It's good. That could never happen again. There's no way that would ever happen again. And then you move across the country to a whole nother state. And the one club that I get hired at, it was almost deja vu like Club Pulse. Again, like seriously again. I was numb at Club Q, and with Pulse, I was shocked. This banner represents the connection. It represents our family as a community, because this banner comes from thousands of miles away, and it's a tragedy. It's these tragedies that have connected these people to the people here in Colorado Springs. My friends and our patrons, are the people who came and watched our shows and enjoyed us in our community, were murdered in this building behind me. And it's hard to just know that this is something that happens in America. It doesn't feel safe anywhere, particularly as a Black trans woman. So I don't feel safe anywhere except for my safe spaces, except for the places that I know that I can be with people and around people that are gonna love and care for me. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. My father is a pastor, my mother was an evangelist. Following in the footsteps of my parents, I ended up going to Atlanta Christian College. I decided at that time to detransition because I didn't know what it was gonna be like going to a Christian college as a transgender woman, a Black transgender woman. And when I detransitioned, I felt like that was when I was wearing a costume. I felt like that's when I was not being authentically myself. When you let go of that voice and accept that this is who you are, there's something beautiful that happens. I remember going to a drag show in Orlando. There was one transgender woman that was there. She was the first time I'd ever seen a transgender woman, like amongst these drag queens. It was amazing.
Keep that applause going, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tiara Latrice.
Pulse was that bar that you know you're gonna go to, and you're gonna see your friends, and it's gonna be like you guys are having a family reunion. I had picked up my phone, and there was a text message from my friend Jeremy, and he said, "Did you make it to Pulse? If so, run." There were so many questions, but the main one was like, how many of the people that we know are in there right now or were in there? And they were screaming and yelling, and it was a lot. It was a lot. I quit for quite a while. I quit drag for quite a while. I didn't start back doing drag until I moved here to Colorado. I remember the vibe in the building that night was just so off. There was just something not right. The next day, I do dialysis treatments. Right after treatment, I ended up getting extremely sick. Fell asleep and I woke up to a phone call. It was my friend saying, "Hey, are you there? Are you okay?" And it was almost deja vu like Club Pulse. And that's when they told me about Derek, and then we found out about Danielle shortly after. Today, I go through some serious depressions. Everywhere I go, I'm like, this could be the night. I barely missed 2 times in a row. This could be that time. That's our safe space. And that's why it's such a violation when events like Pulse and Club Q happen, because you've literally invaded the safe space that we have. There are so many voices that are telling our youth that they're wrong and that they can't be who they are. That's the voices that they hear every single day. I encourage the older people like myself to try to continue to uplift and encourage the youth. Otherwise, the only voices they're hearing are the voices of hate. It can be very difficult to believe that you are loved and accepted when that's not what you're hearing on a daily basis.
Welcome to the very first ever Life's a Drag Pride pageant.
My name is Latrice Latrice. I met Tiara 2 months before the tragedy because she was going to be a new producer. Tiara spoke to me and she told me how pretty she thought I was, and that's something you don't hear out here a lot. So then I started competing in her competition. We gained a relationship just off of what is it like to be a Black older trans woman, because a lot of Black trans people do not make it. Our relationship became more than just like mentor, mentee. It was more like I was her actual child. It's an honor to see her because, again, you don't see people like us. And even when you do see people like us, they're silent. So Tiara being a forefront in this is kind of giving young adults, children, and future kind of a message that if you just take that one little leap, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but show that you're accountable for actions and show that you support, it can make changes. When it comes to performing, I'm a person who loves to perform for the youth. What happens when there's a kid who is like, I've never seen somebody who looks like me, I've never seen somebody who supports me, and here you are. Can I just have a moment to talk? And that could change a kid's life immensely.
Because of my health condition, there's often times that I'm like, I want to stop, I want to quit. But the reality is that I believe what's keeping me healthy and alive and in tune with myself is drag. It saved my life. Every time I get up on stage, I'm a completely different person. I'm not in any kind of pain. And it brings joy to people, and that's the most important part to me. It makes you feel like you have a purpose. It really makes you feel like you have a purpose. My goal is to never just talk the talk, but to always walk the walk. Slowly but surely, I see changes. We can start with changing the rhetoric that is behind drag and changing these ideals that drag queens are trying to hurt people or hurt children particularly. These type of people who did this at Pulse and at Club Q, they would love to see that their destruction has ruined lives. That's what they want to see. But I believe that once we get past that point and get to that point of healing, then we are winning at that point. We're not letting hate win, but love always wins, you know?
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.